I'd like to call the meeting to order, and I would like to ask Tanya Wells to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tanya. We always dedicate the meeting to someone, and tonight's a very special dedication because we're dedicating it to Rita Mary's 3-year-old grandson, Brady Bell, and his parents, Shane and Jen. Brady was diagnosed with leukemia about a week ago, and he's undergoing treatment and is responding really, really well. We are all very hopeful and optimistic that he will fully recover. But what I would ask to do is if we could have a, what did we call it, Rita?
A moment of silent prayer.
A moment of joyful silent prayer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Wendy Burton.
Here.
Dan Aaron.
Here.
Margaret Cowan. Here. Nathan LaVertue absent. Frank Pepe absent.
Yes, and Frank, very sadly, still has COVID, is still symptomatic. This has been the longest case of COVID in ages, and I feel really terribly. So Frank, if you're watching this, we wish you a finally speedy recovery. And, okay. Town liaison reports. Margaret, do you have anything?
Sure. It's a pretty busy month for the CAC. They had their volunteer event down at the Stanford Wildlife Preserve. And they had so many people sign up before the event that they actually had to close it out because the Duchess Land Conservancy thought, they got too much enthusiam.
And tell everybody what the event actually was.
Well, I was just about to say. So they planted over 200 trees. And that was thanks to all of the local volunteers. And thanks to all of the local businesses and the Duchess Land Conservancy that provided refreshments for all of the people who worked. And it was a cold morning. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing is that the state DAC announced their multi-year plan for a couple of area parks, including the Stissing Mountain multiple use area that is in the town of Stanford and goes into Pine Plains as well. And so they have a plan to improve a bridge, do trail maintenance, a new camping site, and also a fishing pier for people who are interested in fishing. And so they were looking for public comment and comments about and just input about what Stanfordville thought. And the CAC wrote a letter of support and submitted that to the DEC, but also asked for some other things like better accessibility for the trails, so more people could use them.
That's great.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And the DEC stands for what?
Department of Environmental Conservation.
This is a learning session.
Quiz, yeah.
And the CAC?
Oh, that's the
Conservation Advisory Commission. Yeah, so environmental issues.
Thank you, Margaret. Anne?
They will meet next week.
Who be they?
Oh, sorry. The ZBA, the Zoning Board
Of Appeals.
Appeals. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking about the fact that we're meeting next week. So next month I'll have a double report.
Okay. Well, obviously Frank and Nathan don't have reports. So the supervisor's report, you guys received 2 salary, what the heck is the word?
Payroll verifications.
Verifications, payroll verification reports from me, as well as the supervisor's bank reconciliation and report for the month of November. My financial forecast will be quite brief for the end of the month of November. I'm pleased to say that we're financially in very good shape. It appears we'll stay within our 2022 budgeted expenditures. There's a rather large budget modification resolution in the agenda that will move monies from different expenditure lines to even out overages on some lines with lines that are under budget. So our budget shows up on a lot of lines for a lot of departments, and we're allowed to juggle monies from line to line if somebody overspends on whatever, tires. Within the highway department, we're allowed to take funds from another one of their lines just to even things out and keep the budget on track. So we do have a large one of those tonight. And the largest modification that we have to make is in order to settle litigation that was initiated during the prior administration's term. The board received, I'm very pleased to report that our interest earnings revenue skyrocketed this month and last month by transferring unappropriated fund balance to our New York class account, which today the rates were 3.59%. So we just saw a walloping like a 500% jump in our interest rates for the year, which is great. A month or so, I was asked to join the resolutions committee of the New York Association of Towns, which for me was a really big honor. This organization has attorneys that are on call to help municipalities navigate various issues. And there are municipalities both large and small, and we're definitely on the small side. They hold instructional webinars on all aspects of government. They produce educational material for all aspects of municipal work. They also represent the towns of the state of New York on legislative issues within the New York State Assembly and Senate. So they lobby on our behalf, which is really fabulous. They're a great organization. So I attended my first meeting of the Resolutions Committee, and that the Association of Towns will advocate for during the 2023 legislative session. We approved 11 out of 12 proposed issues, which will now be voted on by the delegates that go to the big conference in February, and I am one of those. And I wanted to report on just a few of the resolutions because I believe they'll have a positive impact on our own municipality. One, I think this is a perennial, but they work to preserve and support home rule so that we have more ability to make our own decisions and are not dictated by the state or the county. There's a support highway, bridge, and transportation funding, and I know we have some pretty expensive bridge work to do, culvert work to do. Working on reform inequities in the real property tax cap formula. Support affordable housing while preserving local authority, which is a big one. Support the expansion of cellular and broadband service while preserving local authority. And this was mine, provide all towns with the authority to set speed limits on local roads. And there are some others. Amend prevailing wage regulations was also really interesting. But for me, it was a great learning experience to watch the process and to get to participate in it. The only other thing I'd like to plug is that on December 17th, we're having what I believe is the first Wreaths Across America events, and they're happening in 5 Stanford cemeteries. And there's a schedule that I put up on the Facebook page, and I also put it in the newsletter today, of where, like, there's the Thompson Cemetery on Schaefer Road, the Briggs on Homan Road, there's the Sutherland on Market Lane, and the Stanford Cemetery, which is on Route 82 behind the United Church of Christ. There's also St. Mary's. So if you want to help lay wreaths, or if you just want to witness the ceremonies, everybody is invited to come.
This is the Historical Society, and
Yeah.
this is on veterans' graves.
There are veterans' graves, but it's not just veterans' graves. It's, it might have to be a certain kind of veteran.
Okay.
I'm not sure, sorry. So, that's my report. And twice during the meeting, we have something called privilege of the floor. So anyone attending the meeting, if you want to address the town board, ask a question, give a comment, now's your time to do it. And you'll also have well, you may not, if you all leave at 8, you may not be here for the second privilege of the floor, I'm not sure. But if there's anything you want to ask us or say, all you have to do is, you do have to go over to the podium so you can be recorded, but just state your name and address to Rita Mary Bell, our town clerk, and have at it. Okay, I bet you're all just saving it up for the second privilege of the floor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And now, I make a motion to, do I have to, we have to leave the regular meeting so I can open
Yes, you
the...
close the meeting and then open the public hearing.
Okay, make a motion to close the meeting, the regular meeting.
Well, actually, yeah, just open the public hearing. Yeah. You don't have to close the meeting.
Okay. Will you make the motion?
I make a motion to open the public hearing, amending Chapter 56 of the Town of Stanford Code entitled Alarms.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye. Just a very brief introduction to this is many months ago, the fire company came to us and asked us to amend the law on fire alarms that go off.
False alarm.
They're false alarms, basically, like if you burn a piece of toast in your toaster and it sets off your fire alarm, by law, the fire company has to come. Even if you call up and say, sorry, it was my bagel, they still have to come. So basically, the changes we made in the law, as far as I remember, is that we upped the fees quite substantially to really try to get people to pay attention to it. They could be taking a fire call away from a house that's burning down. So it's a waste of money and it's a waste of their time. But Bob, would you like to walk us through the process?
It's of the adoption or the line process?
Whatever it is we have to do now.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is, we don't have any environmental impacts with this. This is what's called type 2 action, which is an action that's kind of deemed not to have environmental impacts, so we don't need to review environmental issues on this. This just simply relates to the procedural part of the town's operation. The law was introduced, and it requires a public hearing, so you will ask if anyone wishes to speak, and then after everyone has said their piece, we'll close the hearing. And I don't know if you have it on your agenda to adopt tonight.
I would like to adopt it
but
tonight.
you'd certainly like to do so, and that can be done by resolution. We have a resolution prepared, but I neglected to bring the copies of it with me tonight.
I guess we'll have to...
But it's a standard pro forma thing, and we do have the text of the revisions to the law here if you want them. But basically what it covers is the increase in fees, and it's progressive, so that as if a person has more than one, maybe 2 or 3 false alarms in a given calendar year, the fees go up.
Yes.
And they become quite substantial. But we were told at the meeting that, at the previous meeting, that one of the largest sources of injury to fire responders is getting to the fire. And so this is a very important issue for the fire department.
Thank you. So, we're now having a public hearing. Does anybody have any comments they'd like to make on the proposed change of law? Okay, then I will now close the public hearing. And
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. So, we're having another meeting at the end of December. Do you want to just bring the resolution then?
I
Yeah, because
would,
you didn't email it to us, right?
I haven't emailed it, but it's the same pro forma type of resolution of adoption that,
We can just do it. That way we'll have it.
I would think you could. The resolution recites that.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I meant, why don't we just do it on the
On the 29th.
29th? That way we'll have it and we can
Okay.
give it to you, yeah.
Okay,
All right.
thank you, Bob. Okay, so now we'll move on to new business. And the first item on the agenda is to set new rates for the town of Stanford transfer station in anticipation of both higher monthly haulage fees from Royal Carting and the rise in fuel costs. Another thing that prompted us to revisit the fees, which haven't been changed in a while, is that the town of Clinton, is it Clinton Corners? Town of Clinton is closing their transfer station, so we anticipate, and the good news is we will get more business, we believe, but the bad news is, depending on how much the haulage goes up, the haulage fees, we don't want to be penalized for accepting more garbage and recycling. So, in anticipation of higher monthly haulage charges, the fee changes would take effect beginning January 2nd. Small bags will stay the same at $2 a bag because we don't want to penalize either older families, older people who have just a little bit of garbage, or people that just don't have a lot of funds. The medium bags will move up, I believe, just $1 to $4, and the large bags will move up to $7. The non-local permits, so people coming from Clinton, that cost will go from up to $45 from $30, and our local permits will cost $15 instead of $10. I make that motion.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our highway department is unionized. It's the U.S., what is it, United?
There's 5 initials, I can't remember them.
Yeah, great. United Public Service Employees Union, I
Yep.
think.
It is United
Yeah.
Public
Yeah.
Service Employees Union.
Anyway, we have a fabulous highway crew, and when I came into office 3 years ago, the contract had not been completed by the previous administration, so it comes up, I think that was a 3-year contract. So we negotiated a contract 3 years ago that was a 4-year contract, but one of the years was retroactive. So we just renegotiated a 4-year contract. It went incredibly smoothly, and both the town board has, we signed a memorandum of agreement. The union voted on it unanimously to accept it. So what I would like to do is make a motion to ratify the union contract.
Second.
That was both of you together. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Next is Resolution 12A, which is the budget resolution that I alluded to before, where we take lines from, we take excess funds from one line and move it to another budget line that needs funds. I think I will not read through this entire resolution simply because it will be attached to Rita's minutes, but it specifies every line that we're changing. Is that okay with you guys? Okay. So I make a resolution to accept. A motion to accept Resolution 12A.
Second. I'm going to do a roll call vote, right?
Yes.
Wendy Burton?
Yes.
Ann Aaron?
Yes.
Margaret Fallon?
Yes.
Nathan Virtue absent, Frank Heavy absent.
The next item is to rescind Resolution 4E and 4G, which we passed in April 2022, which was dealing with cell tower generation, the price of buying the cell tower generator and the installation, none of which has happened since April. I think it's a supply chain demand. I have not been able to get confirmation, but I, at this point, believe there's no way we're going to be taking delivery in the next 2 weeks. And so in order to keep our American Rescue Plan funds on the right side of the year, because we won't be spending them this year, I moved to rescind the resolutions that actually took money from the ARPA funds and moved them over to the general fund.
So it goes back into the ARPA funds.
Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye. The next item on the agenda is a discussion about the Stanford Nursery School. Rita, how many years has the nursery school been?
It's got to be at least 50.
50, right. So I think you all must know that it resides in the, it's the former Methodist Church. And the building is in the process of being sold, and the nursery school believes they're very much in danger of losing their nursery space. I haven't gotten firm confirmation, but it could come at any time. So they came and met with us on Monday when we had a workshop meeting, and we discussed the possibility of having them use the auditorium space until the end of the school year for the nursery school, which meets 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, from 9 to noon. Yeah. And those of us who were at that meeting, which were Nathan and Margaret and I, we asked a lot of questions, just logistical questions about drop-off, and they said that parents would absolutely have to park and walk the kids into the building. Storage, they don't want to bring a whole heck of a lot, but it sounds like what they have will fit comfortably into the auditorium without totally taking the auditorium over.
We didn't think of election day.
Well,
It's a
It's till the
Tuesday.
end, but didn't you just
Yeah, I
say
just
till
meant
the
there's-
end of the school year?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
we were also talking.
We were
even
talking
longer.
about
Yeah.
experimentally, well, but it's always on a Tuesday, right?
No, I don't mean the children, I mean the stuff.
Oh, the
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Well, that we would have to.
yeah.
So, the first thing that has to happen is that the Department of Health has to survey this building to make sure that it meets all of their requirements, and we think it will. In the meantime, so we will have discussion with the whole board, but the three of us that were there felt like it would be a really fabulous thing to be able to offer the community. I'm thrilled by the prospect that we could have the kids here and offer them shelter, from being kicked out onto the street. And we would view it as a trial run. And they can only pay the church $500 a month, so they're going to have trouble finding an equitable space anywhere else. And we thought if we do take their rent from them, one idea was to just give it to the rec fundraising committee, for part of to improve the playground and.
How many students do they have? Roughly, did they say?
I don't think they did say, because I think it varies from each year to.
I just meant
But
for
they-
this year.
oh,
If
for
they're-
this year
I'm
to
really just
finishing
looking
out,
at Since
for
we're talking
finishing out.
about finishing out this
You
year.
know, we could
It's a
email them, but we
really
didn't
good
ask them.
question,
Yes.
which we forgot to ask them.
Man, I missed one meeting.
Well,
Falls
you know,
apart.
what can I say? You're indispensable. So basically, that was the conversation, and I think I'm hoping very much it has a happy ending, because it would just be great to have the kids back in the school. This building started as a school, so why not let it continue? Okay, you have copies of the,
Did you want to do a motion on that?
well, I don't think we're ready to make a
We
motion.
thought we'd wait until we
Okay.
found out from the health department
Yeah.
to
Okay.
know that it's going to really happen.
Yeah, and as long as the health department gives us the okay, then I think that's when we'll vote.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2023 holiday schedule, which has 11 federal holidays. What?
Nothing.
13, well, I don't think that the Friday the 24th is.
Isn't Juneteenth just a state holiday?
No, it became federal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, last year.
Okay, great.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And then I'd like to make a motion to approve the town board meeting schedule, which I've already gotten up on the website prematurely. There was one change
Yes,
that we
December.
found at the very end. Monday is December 11th, and Thursday is December 14th. So with those two, I'd like to make a motion.
I'm sorry, what was the change from the one that you sent us?
Yes.
To the
It's
11th?
now December 11th and December 14th.
Yeah.
Second?
Second.
Did it again.
I was louder.
Okay, fair enough. All in favor?
Aye. This next item, which is to approve the 2023 salary schedule, is kind of to my mind, an odd thing that we do, because we've already passed by law our 2023 budget for the year, which included all the salaries. But because Rita Mary's been here longer than I am, and she can be really bossy, she said that we need to approve the salary schedule again at the December meeting. So I make a motion to approve the 2023 salary schedule.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I'm really sorry this is not exactly a flamboyant meeting for you guys. I'd like to make a motion to set the end of the year meeting for Thursday, December 29th
At 7, right? Just normal time?
at 7. That should be a really short meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. In December, we end up having to have 2 town board meetings because at the very end of the month, we pay bills that fall into this year that may be coming in over the next few weeks. So in order to get those paid in 2022, we have a really fast meeting. That might have been the one I should have come to, but anyway, so we're doing that. And then item number 10, Mike Dillinger, who has served on the ZBA, I believe, for many years, has tendered his resignation because he and Kathy built a house and they're moving to Pine Plains. So we all would like to thank Mike for his years of public service and wish them, he and Kathy, well in their new home. So I make a motion to accept Mike's resignation from the ZBA.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. At the same time, we are advertising for the vacancy in that, for that committee. Rita put a notice in the paper today, I think?
No, but I got it ready, we're going tomorrow morning.
And I put it in the newsletter. I've already gotten one person who was interested, and I put it on, yeah. I know, people actually read that. It's exciting. And I also put it on the town website and on the Facebook page, so hopefully we'll get some more interest. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of 11/7, 11/10, and 11/15.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Then we have something called the abstract, which is basically it's a compilation of all the vouchers that the town, that the board authorized to be paid in a given month. And they're done by, we have different funds for different parts of our government. So I'd like to make a motion to pass the December abstract number 12 for 2022. The general fund, which is like the basis of most of our governance, spent $83,827.95. The highway fund spent $93,162.75. The Bengal Lighting District spent $1,147.72. They're being hit hard by the Central Hudson rates going up. We spent $2,625 in the planning board escrow fund, which isn't really town money. It's just an escrow account that we hold for people that come before the planning board that are going to have construction done or whatever. So that's not really taxpayer money. And then we spent $14,901 in the DASNY fund. Oh God, what does DASNY stand for? That's the fund that we use to pay for, that's the grant money fund for all the work that was done on the tennis courts and the pickleball courts. So did I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now is your time again for second privilege of the floor. If you have any questions or comments, just say your name and address and say your piece. I can't get anything out of these.
We can start just picking up people.
We
And have them come up. Jim, looking at you.
Want to go up?
Of course.
Yay! We have a taker.
I just want to thank the town of Stanford and the board.
Did I give you your name?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I got called up by name, I'm sorry. Jim Griffin, Charles Drive, Stanfordville, town of Stanford. I would like to thank you guys for coming up with a solution for the daycare. The hardest thing that we had to deal with living here was childcare. Our second year of having 2 kids, we hit $18,000 in childcare fees. And, it was a bit of a struggle. We got through it, but it's good to have options, and we haven't had many, so thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okie dokie. Then I would like to close the privilege of the floor. And at this time, you guys should come up and have us sign your papers, because we're going to do something that's called executive session, where the public leaves and we're going to be talking about litigation that the town is involved in, and also personnel issues. So that we do privately, and there's no reason for you to stick around for us to do that. So I guess I make a motion to close the regular session of the meeting so that we can go into executive session regarding personnel and litigation. May I have a second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So may we be of service to you? Okay, so
I make a motion to close the board meeting.
Well, don't-
Oh, the special session, the
Yeah,
executive session.
Yeah. And-
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I make a motion, no, you,
I make a motion to close the board meeting.
Now, do you
we
need
call
to-
that adjourn.
Do you need
Adjourn.
to?
Oh,
to
no
say
action
that
was
you-
taken.
That no action was taken?
No action was taken. And so now you're making a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.